research paper, and you will be writing one soon, in any research paper, you're going to look at evidence that has already been researched and discovered, and you're going to build on that or put your own spin on it. In creating this new knowledge, you have to cite your sources because failing to cite violates the rights of the person who originated the idea. It's plagiarism, it's cheating, and that's not okay. Anytime you write about an idea that is not yours and it is not common knowledge, you need to give credit. What's the difference between common knowledge and not common knowledge? For example, everyone's heard of Christopher Columbus discovering America. Everybody's familiar with that? That's common knowledge. Now, who paid for his trip? The things that happened when he arrived in America, those are not necessarily common knowledge. That you would have to cite. That Christopher Columbus discovered America, that you can consider common knowledge. Quoting, summarizing, and paraphrasing all require citations. Mr. Christensen is not going to allow you to directly quote anything. Everything you do will be summarized or paraphrased. The difference between these two, a paraphrase is when you take a sentence or two, maybe at most a paragraph, and you reword that into your own words, your interpretation of what that means. A summary is the same thing, but on a much larger scale. You can summarize a newspaper article, a book. That's a summary. You take a very large amount of information and you condense that down to a couple of sentences. That's a summary. Both have to be properly cited. Now here's the tricky part, the how, and this is what we're going to work on today. We're going to start with one of the easiest forms of media to cite, and that's a book. You're going to start with the name of the author. If there's no author, you move to the editor. If there's no author or editor, you move to the compiler, and so forth. Then you do the title of the work. Titles of books are always going to be italicized, always. If you're writing them on paper, then you underline it to remind yourself that when you put it into the computer, italicize it and remove that underline. Next is the edition used. Not all books have edition. If it's a first edition, you're not going to see any notation of edition. But if you're looking at a book like Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, that book has been reprinted many, many times over the last 100 years. You're going to see many different editions. And then the number of the volume used. This is useful for encyclopedias, journals, magazines. You're going to need things like that. And the publication information. You start with the city, comma, the name of the publisher, comma, and then the year of the publication. And then the medium. Print or web are the two key forms of medium that we use. Occasionally you'll do interviews as well, but the key forms are going to be print or web. And because it's a book, it's print. Okay, each little piece of information is going to be completed with some form of punctuation. Always. There are no open-ended parts of an MLA citation. So you're going to start with the author, last name first, middle initial, period. Title, italicized, period. City of publication. If the city is extraordinarily well known, if I say New York City and you know that that city is in New York State, you don't need to put New York, New York. You can just put New York. London, Paris, Rome, Salt Lake City are excellent examples of well-known cities that do not require the state. If, however, your book was published in St. George, you may know that that's in Utah, but people outside of Utah, not necessarily. You would want to put St. George, comma, Utah, period. Next, publishing company. We don't usually need the word publishers in that citation, but you can put it if you want. It's not a big deal. And then the most recent date of publication. If it was originally published in 1863, and then again in 1865, and every 2 years since, I don't want a huge, yes ma'am, Taylor?
Do you have to do this?
Yes, you absolutely are. I want the most recent date of publication, followed by a period, and then the medium, print or web. All right, so I'm going to take you through one step by step, and we're going to do a book. This is your key information, and this is the order in which you're going to give me all that information one by one. So we're going to start with the name of the author, which is John Stuart Mill. And we're going to put that last name first, middle.
Am I supposed to be writing this?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. And then we take the title of the work, which is The Subjection of Women. There's our title, and we're going to italicize it. And we're going to do the edition. There's no edition. Volume. There's no volume, but the publication information. It's Indianapolis, Hackett, and 1988. And we're going to put that Indianapolis, Hackett, 1988. And we're going to finish with the medium, which is print, and then add that period at the end.
Because notice on the citation, it's the third one down, where it says none twice, you don't write none in your actual citation. What do? Skip it.
You just skip
You
it.
just go on. You leave it blank.
This is what your final citation should look like. All on one line. I don't actually want a list like this. I want it structured more like a sentence with those groups of information in the proper order. Now we're going to try one with you. Okay? I'm going to give this back to you. There you go. So you have everything you need. This is the order of the information. That's your key information that you need. So everyone start with the name of the author. Last name, comma, first name. You get it? Okay. Last name, comma, first name, middle initial, period.
Write this down, guys.
Next, you're going to move on to the title of the work. A Fine and Pleasant Misery. You're going to underline it to indicate that you know it should be italicized. Then you're going to move to the edition. Is there an edition given for this work? If there's not, you're going to skip it and move on to volume. If there's no volume given, you're going to skip it and move on to publication information. Please don't waste your time writing this down. I'm going to give you a handout that has all this on it. Right now, what I want you to do is construct a citation based on this information. What you should already have written down is the author.